welcome to the KVJ After the Show podcast.
Kevin's eyes look insane, but he's got new hair. Virginia is a witch, and she farts in her chair. Jason is a spaz who's got an old man's ass. Welcome to the After the Show podcast.
Hello and welcome to the KVJ After the Show podcast. It is a Wednesday, and Virginia's ready to go back out raging again tonight.
Yes, I have a friend who has a thing tonight at Johnny Longboat's, so I'm going.
You are? What is this thing?
Her favorite singer is singing.
Oh,
and
really?
So, yeah, she's like, come on, you got to come see him. He's so good.
Is it like the Rolling Stones or somebody of that nature?
No, I think it's a local performer, and I guess she, loves his, sexy, gravelly voice.
Okay, all right. So it's just a local lounge singer, huh?
She knows I love gravelly voices, too, so maybe he's got a little grit.
Oh, okay. All right, so that's the reason we're going out.
Yes.
Okay.
He sounds like he eats Rolling Stones.
Oh, so good. Yeah, they were getting ready to go out on tour. I see Mick Jagger. He's doing little videos of getting himself all ready. Dude is 80 years old, and they're getting ready to go on a freaking world tour.
The way I look at it, I know if you're not a huge fan of the Stones or Madonna or any of these older dogs that keep going on out there, their fans seem to still like it. And if they got the energy to do it, whether you agree with it or not, or you think it's shit, I respect it.
Keith Richards, the guitar player, is talking about it, and he said, I never have more fun than when I see other people having a good time. And when I'm playing our music and I see people in the crowd having a great time, I'm having a great time. I can't think of a better way to spend 90 minutes of my day than playing music I love with people who love what I do, and it's the whole purpose of my life. Why wouldn't you continue doing that if you can?
You think Keith Richards or Mick Jagger's going to give a flying fuck of anyone saying, oh, you're too old? When they're on their deathbed, they're not going to give a shit.
If nobody was buying tickets, they wouldn't do the show.
Exactly.
But people are buying tickets because they want to see the show, so let them play. Let them have that. And they still do, from what I've seen, a solid show.
I mean, Madonna does some pretty cringy shit as she's gotten older, but her fans still, they go out and support her. So who the fuck am I to say stop doing it?
Yeah.
I may not like it.
If you're going to pay for it, you'll send the artist a message, like J-Lo when she had to cancel 7 shows because ticket sales were low. You'll let them know when you don't want to see them.
That was very tough for me to speak highly of J-Lo during Master and Invader today.
I know, I loved it.
I've been going in so hard.
That's fun, yeah. Putting you guys in situations. Then he's having to denounce weed.
Oh.
That was great.
That was great.
Yeah, that was all good. I got an email here from Taylor. Said, I have been a fan of 2 things for all my memorable existence, the KVJ show and Taylor Swift. In my first car, mornings were filled with your voices and afternoons with Taylor. I heard Jay-Bird talking about the deprioritization of meaningful songwriters and the pop bastardization of music structure, and I felt compelled to recommend an album to you, especially considering her new album comes out Friday. Check out Taylor Swift's album Folklore, specifically the Long Pond Studio Sessions. It's primarily her and either an acoustic guitar or piano with some string and drum accompaniment. The songwriting and lyrical power of her work shines through. Exile featuring Bon Iver is a song she recommends. My Tears Ricochet. Taylor is the lone songwriter, and it covers her feelings of betrayal when her music was sold out from under her.
Damn.
Whoa. Illicit Affairs, Peace, Hoax, The Lakes. Personally, and I will vouch for what Taylor says here. I do. I like Taylor Swift, and it's usually the stuff we're not playing, but country-wise and even some of her more alternative type stuff, it's good. I really do enjoy her stuff.
She tells a story and she uses her words and she moves us.
Mm-hmm.
She's really good at songwriting.
Again, there's nobody on the show that's got beef with Taylor Swift. I think what happens sometimes is the Swifties they get out of hand, they get crazy, and then we bag on the Swifties that get out of hand and they get it mixed up, thinking, oh, we're hating on Taylor. No, we're hating on the crazy people that go insane. See, that's a nice Swiftie right there, Virginia, bringing people together.
And that's what Taylor's music should do.
That's a
If
nice
you ever
Swiftie.
watch people in the crowd at a Taylor Swift concert, I mean, show me a more passionate fan base.
Yeah.
That music brings people joy and togetherness and community, and it is powerful.
A lot of time, the media plays a big part on celebrities getting hated on because they over-report, which makes it then annoying, and they may not even want some of this stuff reported on. But if you're constantly hearing about shit and you're not into it, you're going to get a backlash from people, and that's what happens, I think.
There's 2 songs, Taylor Swift, that I'm loving right now. One is When Emma Falls in Love, and another one is a song she did with Chris Stapleton, I Bet You Think About Me. And both of those are solid songs. And I know people, I hate Taylor, I'm tired of hearing about her, but I'm telling you, it's different stuff than what we play. I think both of them are very solid songs. So
We don't play the B-sides. We play the bona fide hits.
I love it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Billy. My favorite songs by Billy Joel are his B-sides.
And she said, Virginia, if you want a sassy anthem about hating men, check out Vigilante Shit. Taylor sings about supplying Scooter Braun's wife with evidence to aid her in their divorce and reporting him as a criminal to the FBI.
And then what did Scooter Braun's wife do? She left him. Vigilante shit. I love it.
Yep.
Let me write this down.
You can watch her discussing the songs and the meaning on Disney Plus. Okay. All right, other stuff. Lewis said, hey, I'm headed down south from Gainesville for the first time ever to Sunfest. I just wonder if you had any tips for attending the festival. I'm going to be going on Sunday specifically to see Valley, an amazing alt-pop band. Definitely check them out if you haven't. Cool. Thanks for putting it on my radar. I will. Trying to take the Bright line from Orlando, but it's very expensive, so I'll probably be driving. Yeah, I wonder what the cost comparison is, gas over Bright line.
It's tricky. You have to look, because here's the thing about the Bright line. They do surge pricing, and they do change their prices based on demand. And so you do yourself a favor by buying as far in advance as you can, and by trying to do deals, use codes, coupons, whatever you can. And sometimes when you look at it and you have a group, it's not cheaper to do the Bright line than it is to drive your own car. Because when you think about everybody in the car, y'all all just chip in for gas. When you think about everybody on the Bright line, it can be as much as like $70 a ticket.
Yeah.
So that is not a deal. And I looked at it for going up to Orlando with the whole family. It's just not a deal.
No, you're right. So you got to price it out.
Price it out, balance it, and see. Because every situation is going to be different. But not all situations have the Bright line as the best choice financially. Now, if money's no object, jump on it. Go for the VIP ticket.
Yeah. If you are going to Sunfest, what we're giving out, the stand, I do like that. And I think it was relatively new. We did that a couple of years ago when we went to Sunfest. And I was very happy we did. We were kind of standing right in the front. I wasn't crowded. I had a little bit of space around me. I'm like, it's kind of cool. I was feeling it. So I do like that. I think that's worth the little bit of an upgrade. It's $40 a ticket if you do that. But if you do like the artist,
don't try to smuggle alcohol in, because they're getting real smart about that kind of stuff. Like people that used to get away with putting it in a fake sunscreen bottle, they're on to all that. The fake bracelet that's hollow on the inside that you can fill with Fireball, I've done that. They're on to that.
Right. So are we talking, we're going to have to go to a new level, coochie cocktails?
Yeah, I mean, you can, if you're brave enough, you can slip a couple of those airplane bottles up the coochie.
If you had to, first of all, do I have consent to ask you this question?
Yes.
If you had to, if we're talking, I mean, we're going to go down if we get caught, would you be able to put the mini bottle, how many mini bottles could you put in the cooch?
Great question.
Tomorrow at 8:10.
You definitely want to make sure you sanitize them thoroughly before you would do any such move. I don't recommend it.
Of course not. We're talking Dire Straits.
But if you're going to do it, here's how you do it. So you sanitize the bottle and you put it in a clean condom. You tie off that condom, and then you can insert that into whatever orifice you choose. You probably shouldn't try to put more than 2. I wouldn't.
Okay, but let's say this
I think I could probably handle 2 of them.
You're a 2 bottle. You're too powerful.
After 2, I just think it might just be too adventurous. But, I mean, how big is your canal?
I get curious.
So I guess that's the question. Do all women ask each other that? How big is your canal when you're hanging out?
No, not normally. But,
Okay.
maybe it's time for these conversations.
What would you, if you're just chilling, you had 4 or 5 of your friends like, so by the way, how big is your canal? Would they think that you're fucking with them or would they really get into it?
Well, typically, biologically, most canals are the same. I think maybe the circumference changes based on how many children you've pushed out, but...
So we ain't got girls walking around with BCE? Big canal energy?
Is that what you want? Does that give you more power and confidence?
I guess if you have a longer canal, maybe you could shimmy a few more bottles up there, but I don't want to be uncomfortable, and I think it would be uncomfortable at some point.
So
You would hope.
you're saying canals are about the same, but we know the clits are different.
Short cookie.
You could walk around with big clit.
Short cookie. Yeah.
A clit is just what would have been a penis. When you're a fetus, that's where the penis would have been if she would have been a boy. A clit's just a penis.
This biology lesson from Virginia.
If you've had a clit in your mouth, you've kind of had a pre-penis in your mouth.
Oh, have fun with the emails, Kev, because I mean she's just trying to get people fucking pissed at this.
Yeah, right.
Look at her.
She's on her thing.
She's
doing her
laughing
thing.
into her old lady grandma sweater.
I'm over here giggling into my shawl.
I'm so funny.
And then Lewis asks, also any recommendations for a Sunday night in South Florida as I'm going to be staying the night.
Where are
Thanks.
you staying? Do you know where you're staying yet?
And is this a 2-bottle kind of night?
Yeah.
If you know where you're staying, we can recommend places in that neighborhood. If you're just looking for a spot, I would say stay downtown in downtown West Palm Beach. You got the Ben right there, beautiful hotel.
Yeah.
Canopy, not too far. You got the Hyatt that has a new little place. That's a nice one.
Yeah, and you got Lisabetta's, and they've got a new rooftop bar there that they just opened up as well, which is right next door. Capri, I believe, is the name of it.
Is that a hotel in the middle between Elizabeth's and Capri, or is that a...
No, it's the Sylvester Cancer Center from University of Miami.
Definitely
they took
don't
up
want
the
to stay
second
there.
floor.
I don't want to stay there.
Yeah, so you got fun dinner, cocktails, cancer, and then cocktails.
Okay.
It's like a cancer sandwich?
It is, yes. It's a cancer sandwich. So, yeah, you just have to be like, oh, cancer. And then you get right next to the next level. You're like, oh, cocktails. So,
Man, I'm learning so much on this podcast today. I mean, your clit talk is just throwing a rocket into the chat room. A rocked.
If you've had a clit in your mouth, you've kind of had a dick in your mouth.
Okay.
I mean, look at me.
Yeah. Along that strip, of course, if you got to check out Bradley's, which is right there, go up the street. Banco Cantina is fun. The Rocco's Tacos, all that kind of stuff. And if you're brave enough to get all the way down to the 500 block, O'Shea's, and a bunch of cool little bars down there.
How is the rooftop situation at Roxy's? Are they anywhere close to getting that baby done?
I know they're working on it. I don't think it's done. I drove by there about a week ago, and I did look up, and it looked like they still were doing some construction on it, so I don't believe it's fully
Too
open.
bad.
Yeah.
Because, boy, what a great time to premiere the rooftop pool would be during Sunfest.
Yeah, I would imagine that'll probably be debuting for the next season, probably, later in the year.
A rooftop pool party. Just give me a fucking algebra test to take so you can really give me a panic attack.
All right, Kevin, write that down as a great idea for a punishment for him.
Hey, look, everybody.
Let's christen the Roxy's pool when it opens and make him go up there and do a rooftop pool algebra test.
I'm scared of heights and I have man tits. Woohoo! Let's party.
What a combo.
I don't know. Sharon liked it.
Sharon, her husband did.
Sharon trying to get you stabbed.
Dan said, I heard the ATS discussion about hyper expensive tickets. They are crazy, but Hamilton is in town at the Kravis Center through Sunday, and they're offering day of show walk-up tickets for $39 for educators and students. You can buy 2 tickets per ID, in person only, 2 hours before showtime.
That's amazing.
Good little tip there. We went last night, got great orchestra seats, and the show was fantastic. Incredible performances, standing ovation, and free parking, too. An awesome deal in today's landscape. The kids even asked us questions about American history.
Wow. That's amazing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, grab a student. Yeah. Take a chance. Go over there.
It's got to be awesome, too, when kids ask questions, when they're really interested in something that you're trying to teach them or talk to them about. It's a good feeling.
Yeah.
Sometimes kids just don't give a fuck.
You're right.
Never mind. I shouldn't say anything. Why are you looking at me like that? I thought it was a good point.
I'm just drinking you in.
Don't. Put down the cup.
I'm like Sharon. I can't take my eyes off of you.
See, this is why I don't bring up stories, because you fucking...
Her husband said the same thing when he texted in.
Yeah, no kidding.
Bert, I can't take my eyes off of you.
Because I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to stab.
I'm going to cut your head off.
Should I stab him in the neck or the belly?
A story you definitely want to catch at the end of the regular show. About the girl Jay Bird met after the show on Saturday.
Yes. Poison ivy, that Sharon.
Yeah. Stacy, about Palm Royale on Apple TV, the show that is set in Palm Beach in 1969. Really good cast. Says, I don't know what y'all are talking about. I think the show's hysterical and so good. I'm watching it now, and Bruce Dern and Laura Dern's characters are about to drop LSD that she called Loxahatchee's finest. I'm out in the acreage, so that one hits close to home. He.
You're the only one that talks shit. Me and Virginia did not talk shit.
I haven't seen it. I want to talk shit or compliment it. I do want to see it. I don't have Apple TV.
My review was the authenticity they did was so good. The look, the references to the shiny sheet and some of those things, if you know Palm Beach, that they nailed. That was really good. I thought they could have done, the characters, the casting is amazing. I thought they could have done a little bit more to grab you with some of the storylines that they have. Ricky Martin is fantastic. There's good and bad. I stopped short of recommending it because I know my wife was watching an episode and a half. She's like, no, I'm not feeling it. And other people are kind of like, poo-pooing it. So I think it's good, not great. And I'm enjoying it. And yeah, the last episode, I mean, it was really cool. There's a touching moment because you got Laura Dern and her real dad, Bruce Dern, and they're playing, father-daughter, and their relationship was touching. That was a great moment that they had in that show. I was like, this is really kind of cool. I'm enjoying the ride, and I'm going to watch the whole thing out. So, I think it's good, not great. And I'll leave it at that. Luigi has a comedy movie recommendation. This is on Amazon Prime. You're asking about comedy movies like Step Brothers, etc., and I highly recommend Please Don't Destroy The Treasure of Foggy Mountain. It was hilarious and off the wall. Great to watch with an adult vitamin in you. Okay.
I'll tell you what, I believe I saw that trailer of the Bigfoot movie you were talking about.
Yes, the one where it's Bigfoot like pooping and fucking.
Is Bigfoot on mushrooms at one point?
Yes, there's drugs in it.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. The Bigfoot looks really good. I mean, the costume looks like a legit Bigfoot, but the preview I saw was just Bigfoot taking some mushrooms and just seeing a bunch of fucked up shit.
Tripping balls.
Wow. I don't know if it's going to be any good, though. I think you kind of got it from the preview.
I don't know. People are saying it is good.
Okay, good. I
don't think
want to watch it.
There's not a lot of spoken word in it. I think it's just...
Like just in the
wild.
wild.
Bigfoot don't talk, so all it is just you watching Bigfoot just be Bigfoot.
You know this for a fact.
90%.
No, that sounds about like 60.
Whatever.
I feel like you're 60% about your 90.
I'm always overly confident.
You sound 60% confident about your 90% of confidence. The fuck, man?
The fuck? Just watch it. Your bitch ass is gonna watch anything. They could put out a shitty Bigfoot movie and you'd watch that.
I mean, she ain't lying.
Might be better that way. Tiffany said, love your show. My sister told me a story that is hilarious to me. She works for a large car dealership in Fort Lauderdale. Ow! And they implemented a new rule for the sales team that requires that they make notes for every interaction that they have with potential clients. And everyone complied nicely except for one. Now, my sister's thinking that this guy is running all of his notes that he is supposed to be putting down through ChatGPT, and he's converting it to Old English because the write-ups are really kind of weird. So, like, he wrote, 6 p.m., the time of merriment. I immediately recognized happy hour. But my sister is dyslexic, and reading regular English slows her down, so she's over and kind of annoyed by this, but I kind of think it's effing hilarious. Another thing that he wrote up, he said, at 30 past the hour 4 on the 7th day of April in the 2024th year of our Lord, Sir Alan Marks of the Dales hereby bequeath 4,000 shekels in good faith to Sir Rick Case, thus confirming a legal and binding obligation. My sister's like, what the fuck is this? But I want to give this guy a freaking promotion. I thought it was creative, and who said vocabulary was dead? ChatGPT used for hilarious yet passive rebellion. I'm cool with that. So I guess this guy didn't want to write his notes, so he wrote them in Old English, is what she's saying. And there you go.
Do you want to kind of diss on that email in Old English?
Old English is like very hard to follow.
It is, huh?
Yeah, like what?
What?
I don't get it.
I mean, can you just like simplify it?
I don't understand it. It's not computing. Not working.
Nathan said, great radio, ?
Here?
I think it's the question mark.
Question
I
mark?
think the question mark basically means go fuck yourself.
He was talking about our conversation that happened around the Masters at Augusta National, and a radio bit that had happened a long time ago where a guy went out and was just kind of trolling some of the ladies that were protesting outside, because it wasn't until 2012 that they started allowing female members of the club. It was all men up until that point. So you had a lot of ladies that were upset, and they were protesting that, and he went out there and was trolling them and getting a rise out of them, and he had held up a sign to get their attention. And he said, how do y'all think that saying to a group of striking women, go iron my shirt and make me a sandwich, is great radio? Would you think that going up to a group of striking Latin men and women and saying, go pick my fruit and clean my hotel room is great radio? Or to a group of striking Asian women, can you do my nails and give me a massage? The fact that some guy did this back in the day is his problem and not held against you. But the fact that you are sitting here in 2024 saying that this was great radio is disgusting. Well, what I would say about this, Nathan, is a couple of things. One, I think there are some rules of comedy here that are good, that I think is smart. And one of the rules is absurdity. And a lot of times in comedy, things that are absurd and extreme become funny because they're surprising and they're over the top. And he followed that rule. There was a show called All in the Family back in the day that featured this bigot, Archie Bunker. And he was saying all these terrible, horrible things. But how ignorant he looked was the comedy, and he thus was the joke. And they were making a point to how terrible you look being a bigot by all the things he was saying. And it was stuff that would rattle your cage, and you'd be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he said that. But the absurdity and the extreme nature of what he said is what made it comical. Now, look, I think comedy is a lot like art. It's very subjective, and that may ruffle your feathers, and you may not like that kind of impact. And so it's not going to be for everybody. But in that, anyone who knew that guy knew that he didn't feel that way. And if he did, it wouldn't have been funny, because it's like, now you're just an asshole.
And he was on a show that primarily, you know, a lot of women listened to. It was a female-dominated, in the ratings show. And so the joke was, that's not the way anybody on that show felt. They were just trying to be extreme and stupid.
Well, that's why we laughed at it, because nobody on the show feels that way.
No, it's comedy.
Yeah. That's what it is. And so, to explain it, and the lesson that he was teaching, because what he did, we saw that as he was doing a class for radio people on how you would do street stunts, which is what it was called at the time. And he said, you find a group of protesters or somebody like that, and you go against the grain, and you'll get a reaction. And that is one thing you can do, and you will get amazing audio. And look, they still do that. People will send somebody out, Triumph the Insult Comedy Dog, or whatever the hell his name was.
Yeah.
That was something they always did, and it was funny. He would go out there and he would be against the grain, and he would be making fun of the protesters and would get a rise and a reaction out
by
of them.
saying like something so completely ridiculous.
I think you've explained it more than you needed to.
Okay. Well, I just wanted people to understand that, yes,
we get it. Look,
I'm not saying,
most people get it.
Most people get what we
But some people just don't want to be fun.
Yeah, and look, honestly, like you just nailed it. We may not just be the show for you, and that's okay. So sometimes we're just, we may not be your kind of.
Right. So that's why
Whatever.
when I said, I thought that the techniques on it and the concepts were great radio. And I still stand by that, and that's why.
Either way, you'll be hated for it if you just
Well, there you
say what's in your heart. It's in your heart.
That's for Nathan right there, and maybe helping him understand why I made that comment. So,
What's he doing this weekend?
Not hanging out with me.
Sounds like a fucking.
You are not invited to the barbecue.
just got disinvited, huh?
Oh my gosh.
The barbecue where the women are in the kitchen?
Okay, I got an email here from Robert. He said, this message is for Kevin. I was listening to you talk about your experience as a father in coaching your daughter's softball team, and I got to be honest, your story hit me like a brick in the face.
Oh, damn.
Recently, I've been struggling with finding a way to bond with my boys. I share custody with my ex, and with limited time, it's hard to plan perfectly every time. But your story reminded me this morning that it's not about what we do, it's about being together.
Yes.
And for the record, I think you're an amazing father and a great role model. You and Virginia do not give yourself enough credit for being the loving, caring, proactive parents that you are. And from your ultimate KVJ nation, love you guys.
KVJ.
KVJ, yes. That is
We suck a D.
true.
I
Absolutely.
mean, we did from that last email.
You were talking, Jaybird, about some of the crazy 70s kids movies, now how horrific they actually were.
Oh, yeah.
And another Jason emailed in. He said, I remember watching this on HBO back in the day. It was a movie called Watership Down, and it's a story about a battle of rabbits. One kind of looks like a little Hitler bunny. And look at this. They're like attacking each other. There's blood. Did anybody ever see that? There's some of the photos.
Yes, I do remember. It was very graphic.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
That's the same type of cartoon. I was telling you about the wolf one where the wolf, a pack of wolves ripped apart this body, and it was a cartoon, and you didn't even see it coming as a kid.
F that.
It was so graphic. It looks just like that kind of cartoon right there.
Yeah. There you go. There was some really horrific stuff.
Horrific. Well, I finally tracked down that thing you had to watch as a kid about the rapture, the end of the world.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's horrifying.
Oh, it was crazy. Yeah, I was like first, second grade, something like that, when they showed that to me, and I just remember vividly somebody that was left behind. It was from the Left Behind series, and they had a girl that, she didn't have all her faith in Jesus, and so the rapture happened, and all the believers were taken to heaven, and she was left behind. And then she's finally like, "Oh no, I believe in Jesus. Let me go." And then they were marching her to the guillotine to chop her head off.
Too late, bitch.
Dog.
Yes. So they were scaring you to be like, "Hey, you better get it right now, or else you're going to be this girl. This is what's going to happen to you."
That will mess up a child at all.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Did stuck with me, freaked me out, man.
Shit, man.
Guillotine.
Yeah, and you would pray like, "God, I hope you're getting this right. You can hear me, right? I mean, I'm there for you.
I do remember.
I believe. Let me go up with the first round. I don't want to wait behind."
And it's not a knock on religion. It's more of a knock on, I think, just
It's the approach of it.
Well, I remember being a little kid. There was this one church we went to, and the pictures, there were paintings. But they were so graphic and bloody, and it scared the fuck out of me as a little kid. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I didn't like the way it made me feel.
Well, I mean, religion has been used since it's been around for several thousands of years. And even before that, I mean, there have been other religions even before the main standards that we have today. And they've used it to manipulate behaviors of their population. And, with any religion and throughout any time, there's always been that kind of stuff. And that movie was to manipulate my behaviors and to be like, "Hey, man, don't be fucking around. This is what happens."
Conform to what your mama and your daddy want you to do.
Well, I just remember looking at the paintings.
It's a parental tool.
Well, you're thinking, all right, can we look at that Last Dinner one? That one looks kind of, the Last Supper. At least they're eating. People look happy.
Right. So, I don't condone using religion in that way.
The scare tactic of it.
Yes, I'm not a fan of any of that stuff. So I don't believe in it.
You probably mind your P's and Q's for a few years.
Yeah, and look, it's all those kind of things, and that's why people are so turned off against religion, and they're right for feeling that way because, unfortunately, it's been misused so many times, so many ways. Kelly has a question here from Tampa. She said, when you guys went down to Miami, why didn't Kevin and V buy houses? Did you feel like it was doomed from the start? And V still always jokes and alludes to getting fired again. Hope you all have been close to. Hope you haven't been close to being let go lately. Let me see. Yeah, so when it came to a place, what I did was they had given me a small stipend, and I used that to get an apartment in Coconut Grove. Kept the home that we had in West Palm. The family stayed there, and then I would stay down there a bit to just try to immerse myself a bit to understand a little bit more of the culture, because it is. I mean, Miami is radically different than Palm Beach County.
Radically.
And even Broward, honestly. Miami's just its own thing.
Man, Davie is where I lived at. Was nothing like Miami
Miami's
in
its
the
own.
least bit.
Yeah, Miami is its own little thing, and then the little pockets of the Miami towns around there. So yeah, that's why I was there. So I had an apartment, and yeah, if it would have changed, that's probably what we would have done. We probably would have gotten a more permanent apartment, something small, just that we could have used as a stop. Because I would use it if we had a gig further down south and I had to do a show the next day. I would stay at the apartment, and I would stay there. It wasn't until the end when we knew it was done. I'm like, fuck it, I'm driving home every day.
Which was kind of, at least for me, the middle. I kind of knew.
Yeah.
I felt like we weren't going to be there. There was certain things that were just being said and done that made me go, I don't think this is going to go our way.
Well, day 3, it turned south. So.
Yeah, the guy that hired us quit.
Mm-hmm.
And when your team that believed in you is no longer in place, it's kind of like, okay, we're brand new. Who's the next guy they're going to bring in? That guy was kind of unsure of us. So it's like, all right, well, here we go.
Yeah.
I would go more than unsure. I don't think that son of a biscuit liked us at all.
Really?
Oh, I know you're talking about. I'm thinking about somebody else.
I'm talking about Rob.
Yeah, he was cool.
Rob is cool. Rob actually is from Louisiana, and we bonded because we worked for the same sales manager in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. My first job in radio was his first job in radio with the same boss. Mm-hmm. I liked Rob.
Yeah. I wasn't talking about him. And I try to keep names off the airwaves, but
I don't give a shit.
Yes, I know.
And I got to tell you, it is kind of satisfying, too, to know that you were beating the shit out of your old station in Miami from Palm Beach in the ratings in that market.
It is nice.
Suck it.
Yeah. Suck it. So we do appreciate all of our Miami
everybody
and
but
Broward
Rob.
listeners. Yeah.
Suck it.
Yeah. So that is very satisfying for us. So we do thank all of our listeners in that market.
Keep on sucking it.
We finally got good enough to
be
good in Miami.
Yeah, go figure. Miami doesn't hate us. We never
wow,
thought they did.
look at that.
Mm-hmm. Steven said, I wanted to call out our boys, the Florida Panthers, with a phenomenal regular season and pulling out a comeback Cats fashion win last night. The Panthers won the Atlantic Division. This is their second time in 3 years, by the way, doing that, and they're on their way to the Stanley Cup Finals against the cross-state rival Tampa Bay Lightning. They're going to have a game here in South Florida this weekend. Let's give some love and support to the best team in hockey right here in our own backyard and bring the real Stanley Cup home to South Florida boys. That would be amazing. That would be fantastic. So I hope they can do that. Tampa's been a little bit of a thorn in their side. They're a cross-state rivals, so I'm hoping that they can beat the hell out of them and continue to move on. So there you go. All right, well, thank you for all the emails today. You can always send them in to us, mail@kvjshow.com, the good, the bad. You can call us on our crap, and we'll try to explain it. I'm good with it. That's just how we roll, baby.
Call it.
That's right.
We may not agree with it.
Yeah.
Virginia may say,
I'll address it, though. That's right.
I'll address anything.
Okay. Y'all have a good one. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Goodbye.